Hey, what's up everyone, Mike Croson here, and today we're going to be talking about probably the most important thing to help you improve as a quarterback, which is just going to be the grip and really understanding how to properly hold the football. We're going to really go in depth into the right finger position when you're holding the ball and really where the hand should be situated in order to have the most success both when throwing the ball underneath and when throwing the ball deep. But before we get into that, I do want to talk briefly about the ball size just because I work with a lot of youth quarterbacks and I see this common thing where a lot of people want to really quickly kind of progress the ball size, right? Get to a bigger ball faster. And I don't think that's a great idea just because of the grip, right? So with the bigger the ball, and especially for younger athletes when their hands are smaller, now you end up having to sacrifice or compromise your ability to grip the ball to be able to just be able to hold it, right? So the idea for when you're throwing the balls, you want to be able to grip, you want to be able to grasp the actual footballs. If you're having a hard time even just holding the football, then that's going to make it a lot more difficult for you to throw it. Even if, let's say, next season you're going to be using a bigger ball, let's say you're going to be going up a size, stay with the smaller ball until maybe the week of playing that game would be my recommendation. So then you continue to have the right positioning within the hand. In general, I would recommend slowly progressing with the ball size and not really speeding up that process. Now, when it comes to actually holding the football, I mean, this is, just to give you an idea, this is how I hold it. The main concept that we want to be able to see here, you can see I have one lace here, or I have my index finger here, and really you want to think about the grouping of like my index finger and my thumb are kind of one group, and then the pinky, ring, and middle finger are a second group, okay? Because what I see is like some people seem like they almost want to try to group these three fingers together a little bit too much and really bring those fingers a little bit higher, but I would say really try to almost separate these three fingers from that index and from that thumb, because we really want to be able to get a good amount of depth here with the thumb, and then I also think we want to get good height here with the index, so then we can better control that wrist flick or the index finger being that last part of the football, or the last thing that's holding the football as it's coming out of your hands. And so what you want to be able to do though when you're looking at it, right, when you're holding the ball, we want to be able to see like a good neutral position within the wrist. You don't want to end up being here, right? And then we also don't want the nose of the football to be facing like out to the side. Like I'll see some people that are holding the ball and, you know, it's almost like the hand is like turned here. Okay, we don't want to end up having this position, okay, and we also don't want to be having that position where we're turned and the nose of the football is turned away. You want to be able to kind of have that nose of the football either kind of down or straight back. I mean, just depending on how you're holding the ball, you're going to end up having, you know, a different position where the ball is facing. And the way I hold it is not the, you know, absolute way, and for different sizes of footballs too, I think it's going to end up differentiating. But the concept in general is, again, just to be able to have that good neutral position, and also we want to be able to have your knuckles up on the ball pretty good, right? So there's some people that feel like they're holding the ball, or the lace is so low, right, more towards like that first knuckle right there, where now you're going to end up being underneath the ball when it's coming out of your hand, you want to be able to have, you know, when I'm holding it, I'm not necessarily at my second knuckle, but I'm getting pretty close with these two fingers, and then I'm really trying to just spread out that pinky. So this finger ends up being in the second lace, and then my in between like the second and third lace, and then my pinky finger is in like the fifth and sixth lace there. So just to give you an idea of how we're trying to spread out the hand. I don't necessarily have big hands either, so you know, like this is something that I would say probably a lot of people should be able to easily get to, and you can maybe even spread out a little bit further. I'm big on just like getting as much kind of width as you can, so then you have better control when you're holding the football. Now, you know, I've seen the video that I'm sure everybody's seen that's watching this, where they talk about having this gap in your palm, and I do think that gap is, you know, something that you do want to have. But I do also think that when it's a smaller football, you might not necessarily have that gap because the ball is so small. Like when I hold some of those youth balls, it just seems like that the ball just kind of fits right onto my hand perfectly. So you don't want to just go off of that. When you watch that video, the size of the ball is obviously like a high school ball or above, college, professional, something like that. It's not one of those youth balls. So don't look at that, especially if you're using a youth ball. You don't need to worry so much about that gap. When you're using a bigger ball, I think that gap's just naturally going to be there because you have to grip it with so much of a spread with your index and thumb, right? But you know, that's something that is I think definitely under in terms of priority things like the position of the wrist, right? Not being bent here. You know, you definitely want to be too much like that, but I've never really seen anybody be like that when they're holding the ball. Usually it's more that position. So make sure we're in a good neutral spot. And then we want to even be somewhat neutral here. Can maybe be slightly back here. We just don't want to be off to the side there. Those are the main things that I would look for when you're gripping the ball. And then also, you know, number 3 would be just, can you hold it well, right? Like if you're holding it like this, if you can hold it good, then you're going to be able to get on top of the football well as it's coming out of your hand. If you hold it more like this, you know, and you're trying to do it now, like my grip starts to slip immediately, right? And same type of thing if I try to grip it and I'm holding it like that, you know, like the ball starts to slip out of my hands really quickly. So being able to hold it makes it so now we can get up on top of the ball as effectively as we can and then better control that release, which is really what we're trying to do. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and click that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you could leave those down below. Check out some of the things that we have in the description in terms of program options. I really think Quarterback University has been doing a lot for that lately. I think there's a lot of great things that you can really benefit from by utilizing Quarterback University and really being able to get the most out of your ability to throw the football.